Hello again. We are back together to make macadamia pestoed shrimp with a mango salsa. I like to serve this dish cold, but we're gonna start with the pesto because a lot of times their pesto doesn't turn out, doesn't emulsify right. So we're gonna do it a little different than some people do. This is what I want you to note when you get to the recipe section. There's no Parmesan cheese in this. And I just want to ask you guys, before you set out to make something, look at your ingredient list. So what we're going to do for this is, basil is extremely bruisable. It's very delicate, and we don't want brown leaves because that'll give us an ugly color in our pesto. So first we're going to put toasted macadamia nuts. This does not have pine nuts or walnuts. It's macadamia nuts, which are an excellent source of fat. And of course, we love that if you're doing the keto diet or just looking at ways to incorporate healthy fats into your diet. I'm taking some of the stem off and I'm left with the leaves. And another thing that I'd like to reiterate is that people will wash their basil and it'll be wet when it goes into their food processor, or if they're using a mortar and a pedestal to make it. It'll be wet. It'll never emulsify with the oil, and you're gonna have a sloppy, goopy mess. So what we want to do is take a dry cotton dish towel, and I just shake it a little bit, get all the water out. It's perfect. And we're going to drop that on top of the nuts. The nuts are the heaviest thing, so we want those on the bottom of the processor. I've got some little strays, and then I've got my whole garlic cloves that are going to go in, and those are going to go on top. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get how the nuts are on the bottom, and then you have the basil leaf, and then you have the garlic. The nuts are going to get the blade first. So the hardest part of chopping, so when we get to the actual leaf of the basil, we're not going to bruise it up as much. So we're going to pulse. So I want to show you is when we're done, this is what you're going to get. This beautiful, thick, but a little bit of chunk of macadamia in it because we want that when we stuff the shrimp. So that's how easy it is to make the pesto sauce. We're gonna come right back and we're gonna stuff our shrimp with it. So we're back and we've made our gorgeous pesto, and now I'm gonna show you how easy it is to do the shrimp portion of this appetizer. This appetizer is meant to be a plated appetizer because this dinner's just a little bit fancy, hopefully. So we have our cold beet pokey, which some of you have already done, and now we're going to do our shrimp. Now, I've asked you guys to buy what are called easy peel shrimp. Why? Because it's already split down the back and the shells are already loose. And so the thing about this shrimp that makes it so delicious is you peel back the shell on the shrimp, and that's where your pesto goes, okay? Kind of into the center. We're gonna lock in the pesto with the shell, okay? I'm gonna turn this up just a teeny, teeny bit. And what I wanna show you guys is when it goes in the pan, we're gonna go the fat side down of the shrimp. Because what happens is, in that nice little rim of avocado oil that I put in, we're gonna get, it's gonna spread out just a teeny bit and give us a look like butterfly shrimp, okay? I'm gonna do a few more. I usually get what's called a U15. That means 15 shrimp to a pound. So if you have 8 people for dinner, they usually get 16 or 17 in there. That means everybody gets 2. If you want more, buy more shrimp. I called for 2 pounds in the recipe, so everybody actually gets 4 pieces of shrimp. See how I'm going tail up? We like tail up because it makes the bottom of the shrimp flat and fat, and it looks beautiful when you plate it. And what's really nice about this appetizer is it's simple to do because you can make all the components ahead of time, and it's served cold, but it looks gorgeous on the plate, like you put in just a ton of effort. And I want to thank you guys for all the efforts for fundraising, speaking of effort, and what you're doing to raise money during our Farm to Fork 2020 dinner. I know that it's a little bit harder being virtual, but it's kind of fun too, kind of different. And it's really neat to see how many people have stepped up and are Zooming with us and excited about the recipes and already planning their dinner parties. Because we've pressed that fat side down, look at how we're getting a beautiful little flat surface on our shrimp. Isn't that delicious? They take about maybe 10 minutes to cook. Tops, you don't want to overcook your shrimp. But if you guys could smell this right now, you're smelling the pesto, the garlic, a little bit of yuzu juice that I put in that. I put a little bit of lemon or yuzu juice always in my pesto. The next thing we're going to do before we do the body of the salsa, our mango pineapple salsa, is I'm going to show you an alternate way to cut a mango that makes it super easy to get it into the size of bite-sized pieces that we want in our salsa. And it's a great way just to eat a mango in the morning. Cut down the side of the seed, okay? Oh, I got it the first time. That's amazing. And with my little knife, what I'm going to do is score it just into kind of bite-sized pieces on the actual mango. See, I've made a grid, and I'm gonna pop it open. And there's my pieces for my salsa. How easy is that? So they go into our bowl where we have a little bit pre-made, and you already have your bite-sized pieces in there, which is really, really nice. And I am gonna give them one more little shake. What you want to make sure is they're a little bit opaque in the center, kind of like good sashimi. Okay, so it's time to remove our shrimp. They look perfect. Look, we have that nice little split down the middle. That means it's going to balance on the plate in a very pretty way, like I like it to. And I'm going to garnish it with some edible basil flowers, because I love it when things look pretty, since we eat with our eyes first. And there's our shrimp. And that is your plated appetizer.